Joining.
Here we go. Okay, here we go. Hello, everybody. Oh my gosh, Carolyn. Oh my gosh, so good to see you.
How are you, Carolyn?
Sorry. I'm
There
better.
you are.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi. How you been?
No comment.
Good to see her, though. It's been ages.
Yes, it has. Good to see you. I hope everything's going well. Nice. So, Carolyn, I know that your team went to AUVSI. You were unable to go to AUVSI, but your team was there. So, did they come back and report great things?
They did. We've not had a formal recap, but I think everyone that was there had a great time, and so glad that I'll get the recap.
Awesome. Awesome. And looks like we've already got some conversation jumping into our chat. Hellos, good mornings. I love it. And I see Louise on here. Louise
Yes.
is a spotlight speaker coming up this week. And isn't it Dr. Lucy?
Yes, it is from Embry-Riddle, Aeronautical University. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Karina, hello. Good to see you. I love the conversation in the chat already. So, well, hey, I see the other Carolyn jumping in here as well. She's been pretty busy these days as well. And so, just a quick note while we were discussing, as I asked Carolyn about the AUVSI, is there anybody here that was able to go besides me? Oh, oh my gosh, it was amazing. Oh, wait, Carolyn, you were there? Yes, oh, good. Karina was there. Awesome. Karina, did you like it? Amazing. I love all the spot dogs. Hey, Johnny, I saw Johnny there. That was great. He had a booth. Model AI had a booth there. And oh, got my book. Oh, I love it. Yes, Women in Drones. We had a book signing. So Dr. Loquata was there as well. And oh, and you wore the green. I remember it was beautiful. That's right. I'm glad you said that. Awesome. Awesome. Well, the event was really, really good. And there's a couple other after hours events. They went well as well. And so I'm going to do a big shout out for myself because I'm super excited. I got an award. I'm super stoked. Yay. So I want to do a big shout out to Adrian and to John McBride, and the after hours autonomy was fun. And so I'm super excited. Thank you very much. All right.
I don't know why I can't get it.
Uh-oh. We hear you. So I'm going to go ahead and mute unless you're trying to say something, a big shout out. No? Okay, William, I just put you on mute. Feel free to raise your hand, say something if you want, because it's all about networking, right? Awesome. Really quick before I get started, you're in luck. I don't really have a lot of announcements today, but I really do want to do a big shout out to my sponsor, and that is Professor Drones. I'm going to give you the link in there. So if you had any comments or questions and want to reach out to them, I will provide the link. They design, develop, audit, and teach when it comes to drones and AI. And so they're a great resource for that. So while we're on the topic of teaching, I am going to segue over right away to our amazing spotlight guest speakers today, which is Brendan Turk, and he is with Rocket Drones. Hi, Brendan. Super excited to have you here and sharing what's new with Rocket Drones right now.
Oh my goodness. We are hiring like crazy because we're growing like crazy.
Oh, those are all good words.
They
Awesome.
are, they are great. I appreciate it, Debbie. Thanks for having us back. We're excited.
Oh, wonderful. Well, we're excited to hear about all your good news.
Sure.
Awesome.
Well,
So
yeah, if you're ready, we'll dive in
I
and
am ready.
the big thing today is I'll open up. I'll tell you about the company, how we came to be and why we exist, but also for all of y'all, if you have questions, doesn't have to be about rocket drones, it's gonna be about anything in the drone world. We all work in the industry. Happy to help you out with that as well. We're just here to be a knowledge base for students and kids and help our adult friends out as well. So I'm Brandon. I am one of the co-founders of a company called Rocket Drones. It's www.rocketdrones.com, and I'll show you some screen stuff in a little bit. We're a bit of a unique drone company when it comes to education, in that everybody within our organization is actually in the industry. We either own our own drone companies or we work for them. The co-founder and myself, we've owned our own professional drone companies now for just over a decade. My co-founder, Chris, lives down in Florida in Pensacola, and he has the rough job. He has the contracts filming for Hatteras Yachts, Netflix, Hulu, HBO, the US Navy. You know, he's out sitting on the yacht making the rough TV commercials, poor guy. And then I'm based up in Tennessee. So you'll hear a lot of y'alls, but I'm in Memphis. And we run the contract for power lines. We do solar inspection, a lot more of, you know, you need a four-wheel drive, you can get your boots dirty. And the way that we ended up in education is the need for a qualified professional drone pilot right now is massive. There are a ton of drone pilots in the market, but there's also a ton of 16-year-olds that just got their driver's license that scare the crap out of me every time I get on the interstate. There's a difference in a really great qualified pilot and, you know, a new pilot, new driver. So what we did is we built a program for a local high school just so that we would have a funnel to fill up our own needs, the needs of our local state and area. We got a phone call about 3 months after launching that program. Hey there, I'm Steve Wozniak with Apple Education side of things. Want to work with you on your drone program. So naturally, I hung up because 5-foot-tall redheads don't get phone calls from co-founders of Apple. Turns out that was real. So we spent the next 3 years working with Wozniak on his education side of things. And then COVID hit and that all kind of got washed out. But having gotten our toes in the water with the schools, we learned so much. And the number of schools from around the country that reached back out to us going, hey, we want this. What do we need to do? How do we make this happen? So what we did is we sat back. And one of the biggest things we struggle with in industry is interviews. We call it a time suck. We'll spend an hour going through it. They're not qualified. They don't have logbooks. They don't have footage. They don't have the skill set needed. You know, again, that quality pilot's so hard to find. So what we did is we said, you know what? Industry's needing this. Nobody from industry stepping in to lead it. It's a lot of just education companies doing the best they can, but nobody from the industry is giving the input these kids need to know to actually be employable. So we sat back and we designed the perfect job candidate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What do these candidates need to know in an interview that we would be impressed and they would actually have an opportunity at getting hired onto this job? And then Rocket Drones was formed around building that perfect job candidate. So what I'll do real quick is I will share my screen. Let me find that button. Let's see. You may have to give me a little bit of guidance. Desi, where's the share button?
So along the bottom where you have all of your
Gotcha. There it is. Thank you. All right. So do y'all see the Rocket Drones logo here?
Oh, yes.
All right. I'm going to play this. I've got it muted out, but this will just show you a little bit of the racetrack, and then we'll speak to what we're doing. So our entire track's inflatable. We are built for grades 6 through 12. And the reason we went with drone racing is the maneuvers that you use as a drone pilot when we're filming on a movie set, chasing a car, doing an inspection or a mapping job, whatever it is, whatever it may be, the maneuvers that these students are learning as they're going around this track, the geometry, the physics, the mathematics, all the different techniques that they're learning as they're going through the track are what we use in industry every day. The next big thing that we had to focus on was the flight skills. The majority of pilots around the world, and especially here in America, fly your DJI aircraft, which is great. We run them 60s all the way down to the pros. DJI are great aircraft. The problem comes in when you're running a $75,000 drone with a $250,000 LiDAR mounted beneath it, and it's half a mile away, and you lose your video feed, or you lose some of those sensors and the AI starts acting up. We can't have pilots going, oh no, what do I do? I've lost my helpers. And we see that a lot in the industry. So that's the other reason we went with drone racing, is these aircraft are 100% manual, meaning if you sneeze, choo, that drone's gone. So learning that skill set, that's why we fly indoors, keep the drones wrangled. But when students go through this, they're learning the manual skill set so that when they're on the job and they lose a sensor or the GPS goes out or they're doing a night operation when you don't have optical flow sensors, they can handle these flights and these maneuvers. So to our students, all they care about is racing. They're going around the track, trying to get to regionals, trying to get to nationals. But they're learning at the same time, because when we start talking to kids about the curriculum of schools, we have a full drone curriculum, but we also tie into the life side and the education side. So if I was to pick on someone in the audience, if I was to pick on Miss Sheila and go, hey, Sheila, you want to learn some geometry? 9 times out of 10, these kids are like, ew, no, gross. I don't want to learn geometry. Hey, no worries, I get it. But Sheila, I did notice on turn 3, you're going a bit wide. You know, there's a geometry formula that could shave off about 2.5 seconds off of that gate. Multiply that by 5 gates, that's 10 seconds, that's a win. Well, now Sheila's going, okay, I'll listen. Tell me a little bit more. After that, now Sheila's got it up. She's learning her formula. She's going through the track. Now Sheila's going, what else can I learn? Well, let's talk about physics and inertia. You're blowing past that gate so fast, you're going too far back and you're wasting time and battery power, voltage, to make that turn and come back. So let's talk about that. So we really found a way to intertwine with the school and with the curriculum where now the kids are asking the coaches, asking the teachers, I want to learn more. What can make me better? All because you're becoming drone pilots. So that's your level 1, level 2. They're up, they're running, they've got their goggles on, they're flying and racing. What really gets us excited is our level 3 program. This is where we get the kids ready to go to work. This starts out their junior year. They're getting their 107 license, which is great, but you can get your 107 having 0 flight time. There's nothing behind it to justify the earning of that test. So what we've added in is a full project-based learning curriculum. Where now, I'll use myself as an example. I'm going through the program. I know I want to be a drone pilot one day. I'm learning about everything. That's great that I can fly, but there's a lot more to being a drone pilot in the professional world than just flying. One of the TV commercials we just filmed this week's for a company that makes all the fake hips and fake knees and bones and things for the body. So to do that, we don't just show up and start flying. 2 weeks ago, we went out and we built the storyboard. Shot 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. What are the shots going to be? Step 2 is the staffing. As we yell ready 1, 2 of the employees opening the door as the drone flies through with the direction of don't look at the drone, look here, smile, the fine details that make a film into a film. So they storyboard, they learn their lighting, their camera settings, their editing, everything they need to know. The reason this is important is by the time these kids are graduating, we have our 107 and our certification, but we have a logbook full of hours. If you do not have a physical logbook full of hours, I cannot add you to my insurance. If I can't add you to my insurance, I can't hire you. So we make sure our kids, starting in grade 6, every flight they do, we log every one of those flights. The next portion is what we were talking about with the level 3 for that portfolio. Hey, Brandon, I'm a recent graduate from XYZ High School. I'm a rocket drones graduate. Here's my certifications and my license. But also, let me show you my portfolio. Let me show you my logbook. Here's what I have to offer, and here's the work I can do. So as the drone companies that are in the country are now hiring, we're looking at this going, you did this? You know how to do staffing? You can edit and you understand lenses and lighting? You're more than just someone flying a drone. You're a full package. That's amazing. Giving these kids the opportunity now to move into it. And the way we do it with the students is we come up with a certain challenge. So if the school has a big weightlifting team, all right, this week we're working on a weightlifting video, a 30-second video to 1-minute video. Here's what we're doing to get it. And the kids have to earn it. I'm a redhead. My camera looks like it's making my hair a little green today, leprechaunish. But we're very strict on these kids. Education, it's so funny coming from industry into education. We see a lot of, it's okay, You tried, do better. It's killing us. We can't have that. We need to be nice to the kids. But instead of it's okay, it needs to be Sheila. Do you understand that the choice that you just made doesn't impact just you? Let's do an example. So let's say we're going to use Sheila and Desi because I've got y'all top and center. So Desi hands Sheila her drone. Desi, Sheila, you're our flight engineer. You're going through, checking everything out. You're going down your pre-flight list. You hand it over to Desi. She's ready to fly. Desi's going around the course, tearing it up, but she gets to turn 3, notices a little bit of wobble. Prop 1's not acting right. Aviation Safety 101. We're going to come back and land. So now we're looking at the drone. Oh, Sheila, 3 of these 4 screws are loose, causing that prop to be off balance. And there's hair in the motors. Number one enemy of a drone, hair. Okay, so now this is where we don't go, it's okay, Sheila. What we need is we work with our educators to be like, hey, Sheila, I need you to understand something here, that by failing to do your important role as a flight engineer, not only did you just cost Desi a slot in that flight ranking, but you cost the school a slot as well. Furthermore, she could have crashed. She could have wrecked this drone. And this plays into the life side of it. Sheila, let's not think about drones, but let's think on the way home from school today, you roll through a stop sign. You cause a little fender bender, you cause an accident. We think it's not a big deal, but let's get a pen and paper and let's look at how many people are going to be impacted. Sheila, you got in a wreck. You're in school, so your parents aren't going to be happy, right? Mom and dad are upset. Whomever you hit, the police officer, the insurance folks are getting involved on both sides, not to mention the line of traffic behind us because our fender bender is blocking the road. So we want our students to understand, yes, it's drone-based, but it's also life-based. Choices that we make every day impact us in school, in life, in the workforce. Let's say that happened while they were out doing a solar field and that drone came down over $250,000 build. Well, we're probably going to lose our insurance. Guarantee you're going to use your license and you're going to have a long, unfun talk with the FAA. So we bring in those life experiences. We're really trying to get these kids that whole package of, hey, droning isn't just droning. Droning is so much more. We then get to the point of conflict in the workspace. So if we have individuals that don't get along, I'm just looking at names and grabbing names. So I see a Johnny Keeler and a Georgia Tyner. These 2 individuals do not like each other. Georgia dresses funny. Johnny, he just kind of smells funny, just picking on y'all. But hey, guess what? Good. You're going to be working together on the projects. You know why? Because when you graduate and you get your job, there's going to be a lot of folks that you don't like or you don't get along with. But you know what? That's okay. We can still find a way to work together on these programs. So yes, we focus on drones, the skills, the curriculum. We make sure we're turning out top-notch pilots who are being picked up by industry. But we also make sure we help the kid with a further advancement. The last thing that we have really started to focus on and where we really want our schools and our parents to understand, drone is not just for drone students. Drone, we've seen it firsthand, brings people together. We were working with a college in Arkansas and we had a deaf middle school ask if they could come over and check it out. So they came in and afterwards the coach said, hey, my kids love this. We want this. Can we start a deaf drone racing program? Absolutely not. We are so, again, industry, we're so tired of seeing our kids being separated. So we made the modifications instead. When our kids are racing on the track, we have a Bluetooth speaker, 3, 2, 1, race. But if you're inaudible, you don't hear that. So now our gates light up. Yeah, red, yellow, green in succession with the Bluetooth speaker. So even if you are unable to hear, you have your goggles, you see the gates, you're still in the same race with these kids. This brings everybody together. Even the goggles are designed, I wear glasses, I don't wear them on the webinars just because of the glare, but the glasses fit inside the goggles. And as soon as you put them in, a fan turns on so they don't fog up. Doesn't matter if you wear glasses, you can still get involved and be part of this. But where it goes next is drone is for everybody. So let's see, Miss Louise Jupp. She wants to be an architect. No interest in drones, has nothing to do with drones, right? Louise is purely interested in architecture. So Louise and I are going to go in and have an interview with Desi. Desi interviews Brandon. Hey, she likes Brandon. I did really well. I know my architecture. But now when Miss Louise comes in, she goes through the process. Desi likes her. And at the end, Miss Louise goes, hey, Desi, Does your architecture firm have a drone program? No, it sure doesn't. We've always been interested, but we wouldn't know where to start. Hey, not a problem, Desi. If you ever decide you want to bring one in because you want to 3D map those buildings and those renderings and use it for the progress shots and the different programs, I'm certified and licensed. Here's my credentials. Here's my logbook full of hours, and here's that portfolio. When you're ready to move into that next exciting adventure and grow your business, I'd love to help you, and I know how. Well, now Brandon is out the window. I don't stand a chance because Miss Louise is now a value add to that business. Drone is a tool in the tool belt. Carpenters have hammers and straight blades in their tool belts. All of our students have drone. Doesn't matter if you want to be a car salesman, law enforcement, military, wherever you want to go, having that expertise, it just bumps you up in the interview process. You're now above other individuals because you have additional licensing. It'd be the random call out is I'm a rescue scuba diver, and that's on my resume. It got me a job once, even though it had nothing to do with the business. The interviewer just loved water and always wanted to learn to scuba dive. So having that on there helped me get a role into running a Willie Nelson concert. But having those experiences built into it is really where we focus. So it does start at grades 6 through 12. There's a full curriculum with it. The kids are going around the track, racing, learning about everything they need to know. The education portion is all built onto a virtual LMS for our teachers. So we automatically grade their papers and their quizzes for them. And then to make it fun, we went a step further. With our gates, it's interesting how many patents we've gotten from starting an education firm. Our gates are all computerized and connected. So while I have a JROTC school in Northern New York up and running, they can call our film school in Los Angeles and challenge them to a live race because the gates are interconnected. We're also an esport because we know kids love this. Now, starting about the simulator, you're racing anywhere in the world. Jamaica and Puerto Rico are going through their onboarding right now and starting up. So you're going to be racing globally. Our focus is mainly the States. We have countries asking, but I'm focused on my kids because America needs to be saved. We're struggling. So that is where we come in and where we put our focus for it. But I'll kind of pause there. Any questions that y'all have? It can be around rocket, it can be around drones and the jobs that are out there, salaries. What would you all like to know about just drones in general? Where can I help y'all?
I am in awe. I love this. As someone said, no drone left behind. I love that. Yes. So you have mentioned so many amazing things that you have created with the rocket drones. I would like to circle back to where you were saying about where the students are doing their logbooks and such like that. About how many hours, flight hours, do they get? And it sounded like you had different levels.
Correct. So in the logbook, they'll graduate between 150 hours, 50 to 100 hours at the minimum, more
Wow.
or less, depending on school activity time and the kids flying. The beauty of this is the logbook is fully accessible by the students. So if they also have drones at home or they're also part of other clubs and programs, all those flight hours count. So we encourage the kids. It's also a responsibility thing. Oh, I flew last week, but I forgot to write it down. Man, that's unfortunate. But now that you don't remember your exact flight time, you can't lie on a federal document. Next time, make sure you remember. So we're very big on the responsibility of these kids because we can't stand there and babysit them all day. And then for the levels, you have levels 1, 2, and 3. Levels 1, you fly this little guy here. The manufacturer we work with, we bought every drone you can imagine. I went to China for a few weeks, visited all the factories, tried to find a good drone off the shelf that we could use. The safety protocols weren't always there. The lifespan wasn't always there. Drones would last 3 months. They'd fall out of the sky. The programming wouldn't work. So we found a manufacturer that we said, look, you have the plant, but we want to use our polymers, our programming, our coding, everything in-house. And they went for it. So we start them out on a level 1 drone, very small, with safety batteries, so there's no reverse polarity to start fires. Then we move them into a level 2. This is your varsity drone, a little larger and more But what we did, like I said, being industry, we're trying to turn out pilots. We didn't build this company to retire off of it. We wanted to make it easy because if it's not easy to use, it ends up in a closet. That's your tax dollars and my tax dollars sitting in a closet, and that's really going to make me very upset. We work hard for our money. So for the teachers, the batteries across all of the drones are universal. The transmitters are universal. The goggles are universal. So when we start out in level 1, kids are going, they finally max out. They're like, all right, we're ready to go to varsity. It's not going back to the school and going, okay, a couple $1,000s to get you new equipment. No, you already have the goggles. You already have the batteries. You already have the transmitter. The drone itself is just a couple $100. How many kids do you have that are ready to go to varsity? Just 3? Yeah, they can share one drone if you like, or you can grab 3, $600, you're up and running. We're not trying to milk these schools out where they can't afford this program because we need those pilots. Level 3, we move them into a professional film drone, still a tiny whoop size for safety because we fly indoors. A lot of schools and states, the moment you move outdoors, you have to add on an exterior insurance policy. Those are about $3,000 a year. And a lot of schools are near airports. So we keep everything indoors. But for that one, we move them into a professional level with a professional camera where they're learning ISO, aperture, and settings. And we do get the question all along of, Brandon, you're spending a lot of time on the film setting side. How does this benefit kids in the working world of mapping and LiDAR and all these other things? That's beautiful because the foundation with autonomy, or not with autonomy, but with your automation on your cameras. If I'm up doing a mapping job and I have my camera set to auto, but a cloud comes over, so now my exposure is changing because there's shadows on the ground, that can throw off my model. So even in the world of mapping, the first thing we do is we put the drone up in manual, lock our exposure, our ISOs and our settings, come back down, then we'll activate whichever droning program we're using for that flight and activate it. So when you learn the foundation of drone and of the video settings, it opens up so many doors. Also on the entrepreneurship, with drone businesses, it used to be, hey, we'll come take drone pictures of your house. And that was great for a few years, right? Made tons of money. But now it's, hey, I want one agent to come to my house. I don't want to hire a drone pilot and a camera pilot and a 3D operator. You need that full scale. So now it doesn't matter if the kids are moving into Sony A7s or Canon D5s, whatever it is, if they decide to join a real estate firm or open their own little real estate business, they have the knowledge necessary to run all 3. So they're not getting booted of, hey, I love your drone work, but I'm not interested in getting, another person to come photograph. I can't use you. So that's kind of that level 1 through 3 side. Was that kind of what you were looking for, Desi?
That was fantastic. Oh, how exciting. And I love that you correlated the use case of why do we need to learn this? They're like stepping stones. If you're going to be accelerating in certain areas, mapping and 3D models, you do need to have those stepping stones in place. And so that's fantastic. We do have one question into our chat here. This is one question that comes to up at their work is whether kids are really making the connection between the drone as a toy, esport toy, esport, sorry, okay, esport or a toy, and the drone career, particularly kids who don't have a natural access to the adult jobs that might interact with the drones.
Great question, Adrian. So yes, you're absolutely correct. If you don't have someone to talk to get encouraged or excited about it, you lose it. So the benefit of our team is that since we are all owners of film companies and industry, is we're actually very interactive in 2 different ways. Our curriculum is very heavy in pictures and videos and with live interviews of individuals in the field. But then we also are very involved with our schools. So let's say Adrian's school, next Thursday, a drone class, they want to do something special. So she calls me up in advance, get on the calendar. So next Thursday, I'm going to dial in. Now there's a good chance I'm going to be in the field. My truck's behind me. I've got my hard hat. I'm flying. I'm out there working. But now we use that as an opportunity to connect with those kids, to answer those questions, but also to reinforce things that are difficult for our teachers to reinforce, right? Preaching at our kids does not work. When I go, Adrian, don't do drugs, we hear that all the time, right? We don't know how much good it does. We don't know if the kids are really listening, what's happening. But now when you dial in and I'm sitting there, I'm flying, truck, everything's going. They see that we're in the field working. Hey kids, good morning. I'm going to land here in just a minute. I've got to grab a 45 degree of this tower. But while I'm finishing my flight, I started my day out at 8, dropped the kids off at school at 9 a.m. I had my drug test. Oh, all right. Got that shot. Finished up the drug test work and then loaded the truck up. All right, drone just landed and here I am working. Just through that little 1 minute spiel, the kids heard drug test twice. So I divided it up. What did you mean you had to have a drug test? Well, I'm flying over $1 million government property, or I'm mapping a Navy-based runway. We get drug tested quarterly. Yeah. I'm not preaching at the kids, but they heard it. They see us working. They understand. And then we land for safety, drones down. Hey, what would y'all like to learn about? What questions do you have? Oh, Brandon, our teacher told us math's important. Oh man, your teacher's right. I hate to tell you, I slept through all my math classes and now I'm kicking my butt having to learn it all because we use it so much. So yes, math is very important. So is chemistry and physics and science. What would you like to know about those subjects? So Adriana, hopefully that kind of answers, but we do get involved. Chris will do it from a boat while he's filming for Hatteras. I'll do it while I'm on a power line inspection. Chancery and Chris, wherever they are, wherever they're working on, we dial in, we get very forthcoming with those kids and up and running with them to try to answer those questions. So hopefully that helps out for you there.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Don't we all need Brandon to speak for us? He's
It is amazing. We started this, like I said, for one state. We've now had 15 states ask us to come online. Oklahoma's going statewide. New York's going statewide. We were just out in New Mexico speaking at a conference, and the West Coast is lighting up like crazy, which is wearing us out. It's a lot of airplane trips back and forth to California, but it is exciting. One other thing I'd love to tell you about, and this is just something for all of you, especially if any of you that are in education, that we've seen make a difference for our kids. As we were building this, we built this for teachers. We handed it to them. We said, we don't want to know what you like. We don't care. We want to know what you hate. When you're going through this program, where are the headaches coming from? Once we got all those fixed, give it back out. That was our get ready to go to market. But one of the things we noticed when we were in schools is how many of our students are being written off. We did an event, I won't call the state out, but we did an event in this situation. We addressed a young man in the top corner of the bleachers, and the teacher just very quickly, he won't talk to you. He doesn't even know our names, leave him alone. That's a knife through a heart. Like I hate to see that with a kid. I have kids, right? And if you have kids, you understand that feeling. So body language, the rest of that little presentation, we're watching, talking, keying on things. We notice him sliding down the bleachers. By the end of the presentation, an hour later, this kid who's shy and doesn't talk to anybody was on the floor of the gym, bumping elbows with one of their basketball players and trash talking each other as they were flying these drones around. When we talk about drones bring everybody together, we talk about the deaf and the hearing impaired, different things, but even our kids in school, to the point it will pull them out of their shells. Our latest success story that we're writing a newsletter on is a student from East Tennessee that was constantly in detention, constantly in trouble. He was a middle schooler in 6th grade, just constantly kicking people and causing issues. So the thing was, hey, we told him to be good and he could fly drones on Friday, but it didn't work. Well, of course it didn't work. I know I'm going to get in trouble. I always get in trouble. That's who I am. That I've learned as a student that I'm a troublemaker. Let's get that kid and let's take him to the gym right now and let's go fly. Let's make him have fun today. Okay, he got in. He loved it. Within the past 4.5 months, the teachers are now writing, talking. I'll start crying because this hits home. The teachers are talking about how this kid now has gotten his grades up. He's no longer a bully. In drone class, he's now a leader, helping kids, learning their flight skills and pairing. The ability to pull these kids out and rescue them is massive. The next side of that would go into something as easy as a foundation. We noticed with these drones that, they're quick. And when a student comes out for the first time, they're timid. Some students are like, I don't want to do this. I might crash. I might wreck it. Someone might laugh at me. Hey, we get it. So what we did is we actually modified, you can't really see it with all the white reflection. We modified our transmitters and our drones now to give these kids a foundation. On level 1, we added an altimeter and a LiDAR sensor. This thing at full speed, a 3-year-old will outcrawl it. You're at 1.25% impulse power per se. Because now, when we start them out, when we go, let's see, top of my camera, there's an individual named Karina. Hi, Karina. Karina, it's her first time flying, and she's timid. She's a little bit nervous. She's not the cool kid in school. Hey, Karina, let's just try it out. Again, very slow, difficult to wreck it. We made it safe. So now imagine you as the teacher. Imagine you as the coach. Karina, are you sure you've never flown before? because you were maintaining altitude extremely well. Karina, let's go forward. Let's do this and that. Yeah. And there's no way you haven't flown, Karina. You're doing outstanding. You know what? I want to move you to the simulator because I think you're ready for more speed and we can get you up and going even faster because you're doing great. Now, what did we just do for Sheila? Instead of hearing, hey, stop being late for English class. Hey, do better here. Hey, get your grades up. You know, the negativity that we're feeding these kids every day. Now that coach or that teacher just established a bond with that student. That student just said, you gave me a compliment. Thank you. Wow, I can do this. So this is the other thing I said, full circle for these kids. If you don't have self-confidence and a foundation to grow on, we're hurting them for the lifespan. Karina, I'm sure you're an amazing pilot. Thank you for letting me pick on you. But that's the other thing for y'all to think about as you're going through it. If you're a teacher in a school and you have these troubled students, we don't know if they had breakfast this morning. We don't know if their parents beat them. There's so much we don't know about our youth. But you, as that safe place and that opportunity for them to get a career that can take them out and move them away to something else is so powerful. So that's my emotional tangent.
Oh my gosh, I think you hit all of us in an emotional spot. The first story that you told me, I was like, oh my gosh, chills. That is amazing, you know, when you see that, and it is powerful when you do see that and changing lives moving forward with it. It's amazing. I do have a couple questions. I might have missed one in here. Okay, do you teach summer camp, providing training for organizations to hold summer camps?
Great question. That is something new that we've actually had kick off a lot here lately, where boys and girls clubs and different organizations are looking at picking up the kit to host summer camps. So that is absolutely something we can do. We're not just going to sell you a kit and say, here, go run a summer camp though, because that's going to lead you to failure. That is a one-on-one where we want to know your facilities, how you want to run it. We want to set you up for success. Again, in that case, you know, it may not be our tax money, but that's your money that you worked hard for. So yes, we would communicate with you, find out what you're doing and make sure it would be a good fit, and then train you up on running those summer camps. We've even had schools pay off the entire program by running summer camps because so many kids are excited to jump in it during the summer. And the way we do it, we help the schools run this, you know, year one, they're paying off the program. Now, spring break, fall break, summer breaks, when they run these, you know, some states aren't allowed to charge for camps. Some are. The ones that are now making $10,000 to $20,000 a summer running camps. That's money being fed right back into those engineering and STEM departments to help grow the school in those areas as well. So yes, we love the summer camp realm.
Awesome. So if someone was wanting to move forward with this, how much space do you recommend for hosting a program?
Absolutely. So we set up indoors in a basketball gym. So if the school has a gymnasium, you're golden. A lot of our private schools may not have a full-size gym, but they have large auditoriums or cafeterias. So as long as you have a high space, or a space about that large, you do need a 15-foot ceiling though. I'll show you this main gate here again real quick. It's actually queued up. Our tallest gate where we teach split S maneuvers, we just went through it. We're gonna climb up and go through it again. I'll rewind it a little bit so you can see it. So this gate here is 14 feet tall.
Hold on, we don't see it.
Oh, you don't see it.
Share screen.
What? Oh, there we go. All right. Share screen. Let me rewind.
There we go.
So the gate on the left that you see is 2 stories. It's a 14-foot gate. That's one we teach how to do split S maneuvers. So as long as you have a ceiling at least 14 feet tall, you are good to go for operating. But the other thing we've done, because we realize the gym's not always available. There's a lot of sports that happen inside the gymnasium. We also have a miniature set of gates that are 22 inches square. So you can set up in the hallway, library, activities room. Or if you have a school that does not have the space, we have a classroom kit that we developed as well that's much smaller. You can use inside of a classroom. That's something schools started asking about. And then they started asking about the elementary program, which will be launching in June for grades 3 through 5. That's also a smaller base setup. But what's really fun with that is as these kids in 3rd grade are starting out on another drone we designed for safety, of course, by the time they get to 6th grade, 2nd semester of 6th grade, you have a 6th grader ready to move into a varsity league. Meaning by the time they get to high school, they're doing level 3 training by their freshman year. So that portfolio now, instead of 5 to 10 videos, is massive. And as soon as they get that 107 late sophomore, early junior year, we're actually able to put the kids to work right there in the community to get more experience.
Oh, wonderful. So do you have is that part of the segue that you would be providing where they actually can find that employment?
We do
Is
help
that
out
part
with
of it?
that.
Do you? Oh my
We
gosh.
work,
it's
we
all
work with the
inclusive.
schools in various ways to get the community involved, where once the students want, again, they have to prove to us they've earned that flight level. We can't put our name on them with that certificate until we know they're done right. If we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. Buy once, cry once. Because in industry, as our partners hire our students, imagine if we turn out a B student. Nothing wrong with B students, but in the aviation world, I want my pilot to be an A student. So, they got their A in drone, they're ready to go out. We help find a local business, do a little 30-second promo. The school starts promoting that. Once the community sees that, the community is actually coming back to the school. Hey, I saw your kids do this. Can we get involved? Yes, absolutely. Make a donation to the school. However, the school wants to work it out. Our kids will come out, build these promo videos. Your local drone companies are going to see them. And then as our national base of big industry folks begins growing, is continuing to grow. Right now, we're talking with Valero Oil. We've got Siemens Technology and several others in the pipeline. These are companies that are looking for the drone pilots. So they always want to know, where are the schools that you have running these programs? So now when they're ready to go out and hire, they know where to go. But to take it a step further is, how do we get these kids ready for that particular job? So what we do is we work with the school again. We go, hey, what are the big industries? What are the big companies in your town or in your state? We go, that's how we met with Siemens. Hey, what is it a level 1 employee needs to know? Like, what is it going to take for you to hire my kids right out of school? And then we will sit down and actually modify our curriculum to include what those kids need to know. So if they want to walk into a job at that tech firm, they have the training. And then a step further is we build a custom simulator. All right, Brandon, we work primarily on windmill inspection. Here's the drone we fly. We fly LiDAR. We're also using near infrared. We do some other things. We actually build out that full simulator with all the FAA regulations and the live outside forces, because as I'm following a guide wire, I don't just fly where I want to, I fly a path. But I notice my students getting a little cocky, going a little fast. So as an instructor, I'm going to toss in a 20-knot crosswind from the west, which doesn't normally happen. Make sure this kid's on their toes, make sure they're training properly. When we're wrapping up the flight, I go, hey, you did a great job, climb to 450, grab me a top-down photo, let's call it a day. Sure, coach. Yeah. They hit that 400 foot or wherever the limitation is, that FAA warning's popping up going, hey, you just violated airspace. And those are things that we grade on and we look for, versus a pilot going, hey, that would be a neat shot. Flight ops, we're only allowed 400 on this. Would you like something else? So that critical thinking mind is built in. And that really does rely a lot on the community. We're not in every single, every city, we don't know who all the major players are. So we ask the schools, the parents, the communities we're working with, help us make those introductions. Help us get in to find out what they need to know so these kids can walk into these jobs as they graduate.
Awesome. Awesome. So, okay, I know we're kind of getting short on time here, but we do have a couple questions in our chat. One is, how do schools find funding for the Rocket Drones program?
Yes. So we are primarily in the CTE world, career technical education. The Perkins grant has been the most widely used for all of our schools. If you go to our website, though, rocketdrones.com, there is a page where we list out every grant any of our schools has ever used to get the program. So there's probably 20 or more things on there that schools have used. And one of the things one of our principals up north told us, because they didn't have funding year one, was, we want this. When schools want something bad enough, they find a way to get it. So we just stayed in touch, worked with them. By year 2, they'd done their fundraising and they were ready to rock and roll. We're also in the process of starting up a 503c with industry partners to help schools that are almost there but don't quite have enough funding. No kid should be left behind on that, but we can't afford to just give away really expensive technology. But we are working on that with some different friends in the industry to help our other schools that don't have the total pricing be able to join in.
So can they reach out to you direct if they had any other questions or anything along those lines?
Absolutely. I'll put my email in the chat for you. It's brandon@rocketdrones.com.
So your
And
date?
yeah, reach out anytime. In addition to drone, we're also fixed wing pilots. Chantry flies helicopter. Chantry was a Marine. Chris was Naval Corpsman. I was Department of Defense for 10 years. And then moving into this world, We've done drone in every sector. The last thing we did was mapped a runway for the Navy. So anything you want to know about drone, we're happy to help. Happy to tell you what the kids need to know. There's a lot of drone programs out there that are really great. It just depends on what you want for your students. We'll tell you straight up, we can care less if your kids have fun. I don't need kids that have fun. I need employees. Now, granted, look what we're doing. We have a ball. It is fun. But if you are wanting a program that's going to turn out kids that actually have a fighting chance to move into the career world, that is where Rocket Drones is focused.
Oh my gosh, but bump. That's a great ending right there, but I'm not gonna let you end on it. So Karina made a comment in our chat about next step is the intern UAS program. And so I love that you have provided a segue, have offered employment and found a pathway for the students that are coming through the program. I would like to circle back and talk a little bit more. Well, for one, you really had me when you said the goggles have a fan. I'm like, why doesn't everybody do that? Right? But you had mentioned about the gates being electronic, so you can actually monitor that and race with other students or compete with other students in other areas. And does that come, is that like a special package that needs to be ordered, or is that kind of standard on the gates and such that you offer?
Yeah, we make it simple. It's one package and we don't divide it up. If you want drones for fun, go find you a fun company. If you want your kids to be career ready, it's Rocket. So we have one package. It's all of the gates, the esports computer. It's 2 pages worth of data. We give you everything you need, even to the point that when we built it, we made sure every single charger was USB-C to make it easy so you're not fumbling for different chargers. Backpacks to hold the gear, jerseys with the kids' call signs for security. So no, you get everything you need in that one package. And the curriculum is also a site license. So when your 4th graders are learning about gravity, log them in. We're way more fun than page 200 of the textbook. So we really are about that full student body opportunity. So we give you everything you need to succeed, including a full virtual library, a video of everything to do, or we offer in-person training as well, which is what keeps me going. I'm actually closing on a Cessna in 2 weeks because I'm tired of American Airlines delaying my flight. So I tend to fly out and do in-person trainings with all of our schools as they come on as well.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, well, this has been wonderful and it's so inspiring, and just hearing you share and broaden our perspective of what's out there and available and what you are doing in the community. And oh my gosh, the success you're having is fantastic. So I just want to wrap it up. One last comment from you, anything that you would like, although you just had a really great one, but do you have any last minute comments, anything you would like to share with everyone participating today?
You know, encourage the crazy. I'm going to close with something of my favorite chapter of the curriculum with entrepreneur. And as Karina, I can tell you and I are going to be friends. Thumbs up. You like crazy. So one of the biggest things we focus on is crazy. So think back real quick. I'm going to go back to my youth. The only time I ever saw electronic doors going psh, psh, was when I was watching Star Trek with my dad, and Captain Kirk got on the Enterprise and got on the elevator. Now every Walmart, Walgreens, grocery store in the world has automatic doors. We are living in the sci-fi that we grew up watching. We need our kids starting to dream and imagine sci-fi. So we have something to invest in so we can retire one day, but also to spark that creativity. And I'll give you the best example I've had to date was from one of my 3rd graders. We call him Romeo. Again, student security, don't use real names. I said, all right, kids, build me a drone that does a chore that you hate. And Romeo said, I've got it. My mom makes me mop the kitchen every Saturday. Like, Romeo, I'm married. It never ends. It's good training, buddy. But let's build a drone to do it. How many propellers will this drone have? None, Brandon. It's too heavy. Spot on. Drones don't just fly. Drones are on the ground. They're outer space. They're under the ground. They're everywhere. So he drew out this whole drone. Said, Romeo, tell me what I'm looking at. What's this first arm? Oh, that's a vacuum cleaner. Because my mom makes me vacuum the floor before I mop it. Otherwise, I'm just pushing the dirt around. So we have an engineer. He's already got his if, then what going. Step 2, I was like, all right, what's arm number 2? Oh, that's the mop. And I put a sprayer on top of it. Okay, so you're vacuuming, then you're mopping. Beautiful. But Romeo, why does your drone have a tail? Oh, well, I use my dad's leaf blower. Is that your propulsion? No, I just don't know what else blows air, but I'm not allowed to go to the fridge and get my snack until the floor's dry. Okay, now as a coach, Romeo is built and driven by food, but he has a programming mind of I have to vacuum, then mop, then dry the floor to go across. So then, and their school is a VEX school who we do some work with. So we challenge him to start building a prototype with the high schoolers. But that creativity, that robot, when he builds that, we'll be buying it. So as you're working with your kids, as you're working with your student, give them a chore, give them a problem or a task. It doesn't have to be drone based, but give them the challenge to go outrageously crazy. It can be so science fiction, it won't happen for 100 years, but guess what? In 100 years, someone's going to be looking back going, remember when so-and-so had that idea? So that's where I'll close out with you. Don't be afraid of crazy.
Oh my gosh, you could put that in quotes and put it everywhere. Oh, wonderful. Awesome. Well, that was wonderful. Brandon, I can't thank you enough. It was very inspirational. I love what you're doing. And I'm so thankful that you were able to join us here today on the Coffee Connection. So I did put your website in our chat. Make sure you save the chat because he's got his email address in there as well. And so, okay, we have another question in here that just popped in.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Johnny said you can hear how motivated and excited he is. Do you think that children with speaking abilities could do it too?
Special abilities.
I'm sorry.
Special abilities.
I'm
So-
sorry because I got this little blocker on half of my text. I can't read it. I apologize.
Yeah, I see that. Oh, good question. And I would say that would depend on a case by case. The ability with the cognitive skills for safety, the listening and being able to follow directions. We are building right now a program for the special education division. They've asked us to build something specifically for them. And that is a lot of talking with teachers because every single student is different. If that's something you're interested in, I recommend email me and I'll show you an Amazon drone that's like $60. That's a decent little aircraft. Let's get them some flight challenges and see how they do. And then as a parent or a teacher, we'll move into giving them one-off directions and tasks and monitor how they do. I would say yes. We're currently doing a study with the University of North Carolina. They're working primarily or 100% with autistic students, and they are doing absolutely amazing. They are flying, and the young ladies in that program, I'm trying to hire. They are blowing it out of the water. So there are absolutely opportunities. We just need to go case by case on that.
Awesome. Awesome. Alrighty. We are out of time. It looks like there's a few more comments and questions into our chat, and they're flooding in here.
Farina is asking about the pay figures. 5 to 6 figures. Yeah, on a slow year, we're around 130 to 150. A good year, our best year, we topped 300 with just 2 pilots, myself and 1 other. As you build into larger teams, you get more, but you also have more expenses. So that's part of that entrepreneurial chapter. But yes, my pilots start out at $90 an hour and they seem pretty happy.
Nice. Awesome. All right. And then we did actually have another one that popped in here that they work with Tucson and they have a drone program interested, and they're definitely, Mary's going to reach out to you.
Awesome. Hi, Mary.
So, okay. And fantastic presentation. We're loving it. All kinds of good stuff in there. Okay. I think we're good. Thank you
Awesome.
so much.
Hey,
Wonderful.
thank you. I
presentation.
appreciate it. Any
Great.
questions y'all have in the drone world, I'm happy to help. Just reach out anytime. That's what we're here for, is to give these kids a good future.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. All right, everybody, have a wonderful week. I look forward to seeing you next week. And Brandon, thank you again.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Y'all have a good one.
All right.
Thanks, Brandon.
Bye.
You too.
Bye.
Bye. That kind of wraps it up.